You so much. We need to get some energy back into the room. It's very difficult to do the last session of the day when we are, three of us are going to stand between you and your return. And if you're in Mumbai, the traffic gets really bad after 6. So we've got about 15, 20 minutes, and so I'll try to just sit this way so that I can see all three of them with some empty chairs. Thank you so much for joining us, and I think thanks for being patient enough to still hang around here after an amazing, engaging presentation by the Dabbawalas. It was really moving to see the kind of messaging that they have in the way they work. But this is something very interesting, what we're going to talk about. So just show of hands, how many of you have bought a thing online and have tried to return it? There's just 1, 2, 3, not many. That's very encouraging. Yep, there is 4. That's very encouraging because this market is something which Eric was mentioning about and how he handles it. But without much ado, I'll straight away jump into this whole battle thing, and I'll get Mayank to respond to it. Mayank, what is the battle that you're fighting on online returns?
Hello. Hi everyone. Major battle is that while we say that we want to match up to brick and mortar customer experience, returns is something where we are really tested out in terms of what is the percentage of the products which is being returned by the customer, and that is in 2 parts. Let me just define the returns. One is post-purchase. When you purchase some product, you don't like it, then you return it. Other is the refusal part, where customer says that they never receive it, and then they say that they don't want it. So it creates a lot of pressure on the reverse logistics, and then you have a entire life cycle where the product moves backwards, probably to your warehouse or to your marketplace partner, and you have to manage that, and then you have to manage the transaction as well, because if customer has paid for that, then you're going to take care of that as well.
And there is always the question of policy around what he can return and what he cannot return.
Yes, so some of the products where you say that you cannot return, like something related to innerwear or something which is very much transactional, like a memory drive, and so you say that you can't return, and some of the product you say that you can return. Now sometimes what happens that product goes beyond the expiry. Now the challenge is that the brand will say that it is beyond expiry, I'll not take it back even if it is faulty. So let me explain this again. What happens that when you purchase something from a brand, they say that this is for next 6 months. And if you stock it for 5 months, you send it to customer, and customer returns it back for some quality issue, then the brand says that it is already 6 months and 3 days, so I'm not going to take it back even if I know that it's a faulty product.
So you have very little friends around when it comes to return.
Sure.
Literally got everybody barking at you.
So basically, another challenge in return is that all sorts of use cases are very difficult to understand and very difficult to processize in terms of anything related to delivery. If customer is facing any problem, creating an IT product is relatively simple, relatively easier. But for returns, there are so many varieties of cases, it's very difficult to create any ERP product which can actually resolve all the use cases.
Vijay, I need to get you in here. I mean, you are arguably India's most profitable brick and mortar retailer, who's now recently, not recently, I mean, I was sharing with you in our prior discussion, I've been a customer of your click and mortar for some time. How different are your challenges from what the couple of gentlemen have shared?
So, our model is such, for those of you who don't know, we are India's largest chain of department stores. We have over 60 odd stores, and we're also running an online channel. We facilitate returns within stores, and obviously if you've bought online, you can hop across to any of our stores and also exchange the items. Now, if I come back straight to your question on exchanges or the key challenges, so we deploy third-party logistics like Eric unlike Mayank, who has his own logistics system in place. Eric has already listed down the challenges in his presentation of, the typical challenges that one would face while battling or dealing with a third-party logistics. So I won't get into that. What I think we spend time in understanding is, why is it that the customer in the first place was disappointed with his purchase? So we start from the starting point. To address that. So that has been our challenge. So just to give you numbers, because I understand that you'd like to understand how the industry works. I think in India, Mayank, correct me if I'm wrong, but 20% of what you order usually comes back as returns. Globally, this percentage is sitting at about 30%. In our case, it's about 5%. So it's really low. Of that 5% also, half of it is because it's cash on delivery. And the other half, which is the 2.5%, is what we really study, is why is it that the customer is unhappy with that product. And when we've done that, we've understood it's probably because the size has not fit the customer. Or she saw the color on the website and she thought it looked like Virgin's blush, but when she got it, it was Blossom Peach. And for those few who don't understand, which is the men in this room, both mean pink. So, these are the reasons why she wants to exchange the item. So for us, those are challenges that we've tried to address through improved content on the website. So that's where we're trying to address.
So in your case, it's more deeper analysis of the 2.5% opportunity. And Mayank's case would be, Mayank, what could be a number for an online retailer look like? And what would be your focus to address as a challenge area?
So for us, it's around 10 to 12%. And ideally, we would want to keep it in single digits. Right, so as I mentioned earlier also, so we come from four different point of views. One is about the product quality. So product quality can be, customer will have a certain perception about a e-tailer, and customer will have certain perception about the branded products you are selling. So some customer may perceive that, you are not a very renowned e-tailer brand, so you may sell something which may or may not be original. That's also a cause of return. So creating your brand over there. Second thing about the portal experience. So as Pooja mentioned, like it's more about, whatever you display, whatever product you display on your website, it better match the actual product, right? And this is one more thing related to that is the size, right? So some of us know that a marquee brand like Levi's, so I wear a size 34 waist Levi's, but I may not know the equivalent size in a private level brand or in a less known brand. So somewhere where you can, guide customers that if you are buying this particular brand, what is the relative size which you know for your, shirt or for your trouser. So that really helps in, stopping customer from buying something which may not fit well, and eventually the customer is going to return that. And then obvious things like, having, faster delivery service. I think Eric also touched upon that. If it is 10 days, customer tend to forget about that I placed an order. So that's also a major cause of returns. So I think we work upon all these aspects, and it's more like, continuous improvement. And I mean, all these are elements which ultimately helps us to better our customer experience.
It's very interesting to know that, but as a customer, let's say I go into and Eric, I'll start with you on this one, is that I go into your website or on your television channel or in your store, and the return is usually the policy of what is the return. That's a big thing for a customer. From a supply chain perspective, three of you hold very critical positions in your firm. How much is the level of influence that you have on the return policy? Do you make it simple for the customers? Is it very complicated? Do you also have a judgment on what portion of money gets refunded? How do you deal with it from a supply chain perspective on the return policy? Eric, if you can take
that. First, let me start with the problem of the returns. Actually, even our company is similar to other two companies. We also have a high returns, about 13-15% of returns. But actually, out of those, real return is only 2% from the customer side. Definitely, there are some customer repeat people, it leads to the customers. But out of 15, 2% is a real problem with the customers. So we know what is the real problem, and then we can correct those things. But other 13, 12% is actually our headaches. So actually, because of those things, all the cost and our sales and our company grosses, even we can grow much better, but because of those things, actually, we cannot grow it. And then our cost also increases. And then once our cost is increased, anyway, it goes to the customers ultimately. So now, actually, we're trying to how to reduce those things. But from supply chain perspective, anyway, I'm not sure whether this is the right answer, but we think we are managing two different returns. One is as I said, those 2%, another 13%. But those 2% actually, from our SCM team, what we are focusing, how to give the much better service to the customers. Actually, to the customer, we think we go and pick up immediately, and then we can refund immediately, and then we can give at least some certain level of customer satisfaction. So we are focusing on those things. That's why we are managing separately two returns. But other 13%, actually, we are working with all the teams. One is all the outside our outsourcing company, delivery logistic companies, how they can do much better delivery and faster deliveries. And then also, whatever they catch the reasons from the customer side, we also analyze with them together. And then the other hand, we are also working with all the marketing and the broadcasting teams. Because if we give the right information and then better information, as he already explained, anyway, customer can have a better and then right choices. So actually, we are working with all the related parties.
So it's a
Can-
balancing act to an extent.
Sorry.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.